Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1598. And as you see, I have the amazing Casey Eberhart with us this evening. And we are not talking about how all of this got started, which is when he usually comes on. Tonight, we're talking about an event that he is holding on Tuesday called Networking Next Level. And it's such an amazing event. But first of all, Casey, welcome. Welcome back.
I am so excited. And Helen, I love the fact that you've done 1,500 shows in pretty much consecutive order, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And one of the things I love about that is it just shows that your commitment to consistency and commitment to growth in all of your businesses in your portfolio is it's awesome. And I'm super honored to be here, even on a Saturday night, for crying out loud.
And I just noticed your shirt has the same color that I'm wearing.
Well, we planned that. You didn't have to tell everybody that we're sent a memo.
So, Casey, Networking Next Level. This is a very different type of workshop than what you've done in the past.
Yeah.
So, what is the difference between, because we used to do Networking Riches, which was 2 days. This is 1 day. But we get so much done in that day.
Yeah, here's the reality. So first off, if you have never heard of me, you don't know who I am, that's super cool. I just want to introduce myself and say, my name's Casey Eberhart. I live in Los Angeles, but I really travel around the world. And all I've done since I've been 23 years old has bought, sold, built, advised, and consulted companies in business development, growth, sales, and marketing, so that the business owner can actually make more money and go spend time on the beach or the mountains or the lake with the grandkids, the kids, the nieces, the nephews, themselves, their boyfriend, their girlfriend, the dog catcher, whoever. And one of the easiest ways to create leverage in a business is by creating a very powerful network. And what I used to train and teach, and I still do a bit when I'm asked, obviously, is kind of building a network as customers, right? So these are things like going to your local chamber of commerce, going to BNI, how to create kind of that localized network. And what we found was that was a really good growth driver for people in our Platinum Inner Circle. But we were missing something. And here's what we were missing. We were really missing the companies that really understand that networking is not necessarily, or I should say not all of it, is about going to a local business event or a local Zoom event to try to get customers. Networking Next Level is really focused on how you as the business owner can inject a massive amount or turbocharge the leverage that your business needs to create in order to scale. And so the way we break this down, first off, 2 days for a busy CEO that's doing, $500,000 and up in revenue is a lot to ask to come on and hang out. Right. So we scaled it down to 1 day. We took all the fluff out of everything that we've taught and trained. We've taken everything that has allowed every business that I consult for or advise, or quite honestly, that I acquire and put in my portfolio. We take these same sort of turbocharged, leveraged pillars and inject them. And so the way that I do this event is it's hands-on. So this is not I'm just going to come hang out for a few hours. This is like, listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take each pillar of leverage, right? And then I'm going to talk about how to actually do it. And then I'm going to actually take my computer and do it. So I'll give you a great example, Helen. The first one is a lot of CEOs and business owners are on Facebook, but people are not really understanding how to leverage the power of that social media. Posting about your dogs and your cats is one thing if you're trying to get the algorithm, but how do you actually put together a plan of action so that you or your team or your virtual assistant or your assistant or your employees can actually make money on Facebook? Right? So we talk about it, and then I literally am going to go in and I'm going to show you my daily method of operation in terms of Facebook. We have a tool, Eventbrite, kind of went out of favor for some years. It's back, and it's big. It's 10 times bigger than Meetup. So how do you leverage the power of Meetup Eventbrite.com, for example, and Eventbrite.com. How do we leverage that? So as a business owner, what people are going to really find is a lot of hacks, a lot of strategies, a lot of like really practical, usable stuff. I'm not a fluff guy. I just don't have any interest in it anymore. I speak and train all over the planet, and I watch a lot of speakers. And for me, the number one goal is that people leave this event knowing, understanding, and believing and executing on the idea of making more money and saving time while doing it.
And one thing I love about the event too is that not only are you teaching it and showing it, you're also giving people a chance to participate as well and to do actual hands-on experience, hands-on exercises that help some of the things that you're teaching to stick even better, because that's how I learn. Show me, so teach me, show me, let me play. That's how I learn.
And here's the thing: we got to have fun while we're doing this, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right. But I'll give you another example, Helen. And obviously, you work with me, so you know this, that we teach and train this, and it is an extremely powerful exercise. But every single person, whether you're watching this or you're not watching this, your phone is within 3 feet of you. Like statistically speaking, your cell phone is within 3 feet of your human beingness 22 and a half hours a day. That means your customers have their phone next to them. The suppliers that you want to do business with have their phone next to them. The people you golf with, the people that you do business with, the people that can open doors, unlock doors that are closed to you right now, all also have their phone next to them 22 and a half hours a day. So how do we message things, create things, text, call, email, so that we're actually having our message reach that particular person in real time? So we even do exercise. Like literally, you guys, we're going to be doing some exercise where it's like, listen, everyone take out your phone. I'm going to show you exactly what we're going to do. We're going to do it together. And I'm going to prove the example in that exercise of just how powerful 5 minutes a day is.
That is a powerful exercise.
It's so powerful because it makes money for people that do the exercise literally in real time. So here's the thing. I've done this exercise only a handful of times. I don't normally do it as part of my big deal, but in real time, I've never, ever done the exercise and not had somebody on the call make money. I'll give you 2 great examples. We did this exercise where I had people text out to people that were in their phone. And I'm not going to get in all the details. You have to come to the event on Tuesday.
Absolutely.
But here's what happened. In one case, we had a guy on the call text out, and what had happened was he had texted a customer that owed him $70,000 from at least 3 years ago. Okay? Doing exactly what I said, exactly what we trained, did it exactly verbatim. Well, the customer that owed him $70,000, somehow their wires had got crossed, and the guy that owed him the money didn't know how to actually find him. And I can't remember if the business got sold or he exited or what the deal was. By the end of the call, the customer had texted and said, "Oh my gosh, it was so great to hear from you. I've been trying to search for you. I didn't know how to find you. I'm wiring you the 70 grand right now. Send me wiring instructions." I literally was like, my event is not worth you missing $70,000. So during the break, he sent over the wiring instructions, and by the end of the event, $70,000 in his pocket by one text message, right?
That's
Another
awesome.
text message went out to a landlord of a gal, and she was just wishing a happy holiday. I think it was happy holidays or happy birthday or something. And the person on the other end was so moved by what she said that she said, "Oh my gosh, skip rent this month." And it was an $8,900 rent payment that by one simple text message. So the power of what we're talking about here is so critical going into 2024 and the growth and the drivers that we can all put in businesses. And if I can do this and show you what you can do for your own business, if you're the CEO or you're the founder, I'll show you how to add leverage into that to have your team do it, and you'll double, triple, quadruple the leverage that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, what I find interesting is at the end, when you ask, people what they, what golden nuggets they go away with, the number of people that mention that texting exercise and
Yeah.
the impact that it had on them. And even though they were just doing their thing, but when we do the adding up at the end, they were just like,
Yeah, because I think a lot of times business owners and CEOs get sold a new software package, or they hire a new agency, or they go in and they're going to do some huge ginormous thing, and at the end of the day, if we haven't mastered fundamentals or brushed up on fundamentals, or even see what's going on in the marketplace,
mhm.
right? Like, there are ways. If I'm going to show you how to take over meetup groups, right? And I will just share this. I was down in San Diego this week. I'm on faculty for a giant mastermind down there, and I talked about this idea of how to bring on how to take over a meetup group, and people fell out of their chairs because it's so easy. But it's sort of like there's so many things, tools. I don't even know what else to call them. A body of work that is so close to you. It's
Mhm.
so close, but it's got a giant vault door between you and success,
Yep.
right? And that entire vault door is, 36 inches deep of concrete or whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, it's held with a lock, a padlock. My job on with this event is to just give you the key, show you the keyhole to insert the key in,
Mhm.
and twist that key a quarter turn.
Yep.
A quarter turn. It's all it takes, gang, is a quarter turn. One quarter turn pops the lock off the door and opens this vault of growth and development and innovation and impact. To me, it's kind of worth coming and hanging out for a few hours to see if that works for you. Let me say this, I've never had somebody leave this event and go, oh, that was a waste of my time.
That's true. We haven't. We get lots of great comments about it. It's awesome.
It's and we go really fast. We go really fast. And I'll say this when we do the event too, that if you don't like this tool, or you don't like this strategy, or you don't like this site, or you don't like this app, or you don't like this strategy, it's okay.
Yeah.
By the time you get up and go pee, we'll be on to something new.
Well, one thing I also like too is that you always say, I'm going to give you a fire hose of stuff. Take what you need and leave the rest. And because a lot of people get in their head like, oh, I have to learn every single thing that's on here. I've got to do everything that's on here. But you phrase it that take what you need and leave the rest.
Well, here's the reality. The reality is a founder and a CEO of a business, even if they were to take everything we talk about at the event and make a cheat sheet for themselves and go hand it to their staff or hand it to their VA, or they're going to take it on, the likelihood that you're going to be able to do that with everything we talk about is relatively small.
Yeah.
Right. So what we're going to really try to do is polish what you're already doing and show, explore, and push you to the next step, the next level. And so we wrap that really around networking because it's kind of like the easy way to say, listen, if you build a network, and this is how I kind of start this and say, look, at the end of the day, if you can understand and master the skill of networking, and not even the skill of networking, I'm not even going to say it that way. I'll say it differently. If you can master the skill of building networks of people, networks of suppliers, networks of funding sources, networks of customers, networks of staff, networks of people in general. If you can master that skill set, it doesn't matter where in the world somebody drops you off. It doesn't matter where in the world you want to start or end a business. It doesn't matter what business you start, buy, build, exit. You will be unstoppable.
Yep.
And that's really the name of the game. The name of the game is, so you're doing a business right now. What happens if something like the pandemic hits or some other crazy event that goes out there? How do you go, oh my gosh, what next? How do I maneuver? At the end of the day, You want to be able to maneuver and have maximum flexibility.
Yep.
And it's so funny because one of my close friends, I just saw her pop on here, Karen Glasser, is one of the masters at being able to bob and weave and ebb and flow, because she is a master of the skill set.
Yes, totally agree with that one.
Right? And if you can master the skill set, it allows you to move at the fork in the road, right? And be able to pivot and change. And here's the thing. If you want to know what not mastering the skill set looks like, Blockbuster.
Yeah.
That's thinking, oh, I got this. I'm so big. It doesn't matter. Everyone's going to always watch VHS videotapes, and they're going to come down to the strip center, the strip mall on the corner where I'm paying a massive amount of rent because we got the model. And I will tell you, I just literally spent 4 days in San Diego where I saw an AI technology that about put me to the floor. And so I look at AI. I had a conversation with a friend of mine today in Australia, and we were talking about AI. And here's the reality. You can say it's not coming, and you can say it's not going to affect your job or your business or your customer base. And you know what?
It is.
It will. I truly believe that it will be bigger than the internet in terms of the influence and the impact that it's had on all of our daily lives. Right? I mean, social media, you guys, like, collapsed in inefficiency. They allowed all the medium businesses and the small businesses to compete with the big businesses that up until social media had to go get a billboard or a giant ad in the yellow pages or go skywriting or whatever, right? And then you take someone like Karen Glasser, who saw, oh my gosh, how do I capitalize on this, build a network, capitalize on other people's networks, and really make people feel magical, impact their businesses, impact the world, and grow audiences. So where did she go? She moved into podcasting, and now she has an entire podcasting production business. Talk about leverage on top of leverage.
Yeah.
And that's because she understands the value of building relationships and building networks, and she's very strategic and on purpose and with intention while doing so. It's massive. And that's really what we're going to drive home at this event, is how do you take your business truly to the next level? And I'm not talking about all the, it just drives me crazy. I see Instagram ads and Facebook ads. We're going to take your business to the next level. And it actually drives me insane because I will never put down what another speaker or trainer or anything says. Here's what I can tell you. All I've done my whole life is build, grow, and scale and exit businesses. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a side job. I don't have a W-2 income. I work with businesses to make them more money and to save them heaps of time while doing it. And quite frankly, at this event, we're going to have fun, and we're going to laugh, and we're going to be goofy, and we're going to have some fun. And people are going to walk out of there with the game being changed.
Absolutely. So let's see. We're almost, we've still got a little bit of time left. So I've got another question for you.
Yeah.
With the way technology is moving, now we've gone through this whole change with the global pause, which people call pandemic. I like global pause because it helped me reset. So we went through this global pause thing, and everybody was on Zoom doing meetings and networking that way, which opened up the world to them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're able to expand their network from just being in their local area when you're talking about the BNIs and the little tips, the teams and all of that sort of thing. And the chamber's taking it from that to a global thing. How do people now expand? They're expanding that. How do they deal with that? The concept of the fact that I can now network with people on the other side of the world. How is technology taking us into different places?
It is understanding that through the use of technology, through the use of leverage, you can now build networks at scale.
Mm-hmm.
And before, we couldn't do that. I mean, if you look back, when AOL and CompuServe and we were doing dial-up internet and, all of that was going on, the way you sold a business to customers is you would go out, shake their hands, or you would put a brick and mortar business up with a giant sign and hope to pray that a car would drive by and need your product or service, or you took business cards to networking events and you went to networking events. Chamber of Commerce literally means house of business, right? And so you had all of these things and it was so localized. There was no way to really get scale unless you were one of the big boys and the big girls. And then you bought like TV advertising or radio advertising. All of the technology has just leveled the playing field. So the businesses that understand that you can do that sort of at scale right now and that are taking advantage of that are like mopping the floor with everybody else. It's just them's the facts, right? And you can get mad at it and you can scream and you can say, I'm never listening to you and I don't like you and I don't like what you're saying. And that's cool. There is a word for that. Broke. Right? And so I've just taken upon myself to really look at how through a one-day event, we go from 8 to 1 or 8 to 2, how we can really just drive the network and the database and the leverage. So I'll even share with you a formula that we start the day off with, that if you understand the 3 fundamentals of building a network, building a database, and leveraging both of those, you are literally light years ahead of people that are like, nope, you know what? I'm going to use one of these and I'm going to get out my paper and my abacus. I'm going to just use my Rolodex card. I mean, it's like, look, is there a place for this? 100%. Right? Is a handshake still a handshake? Absolutely. Most of the businesses I acquire or add into my portfolio, most of them, A, come from my network, and B, are done on a handshake because reputation, honesty, integrity still counts. You can leverage yourself all with that technology and go global. But if your reputation sucks, or people think you're an ass, or you don't have integrity, or you're not honest and you don't treat people right, you're going to get smoked.
Yep, absolutely.
You'll be working for somebody maybe that does all that stuff.
And then one last question for you.
Yeah.
The breakthrough zone.
I'm just getting super fired up here. I'm sitting in my thumb going, gosh, Case, you're being like really intense and serious tonight. But, you know, what do you do? I'm going to Disneyland tomorrow, so I'll get to play.
Yeah, you'll get to play tomorrow. So the breakthrough zone, we do the breakthrough zone, which is one of my absolute favorite parts of the event.
Yeah.
Tell us what the breakthrough zone is in your words, what you think of the breakthrough zone.
Yeah. So I spend my days really working with founders and CEOs on how to grow and expedite the growth model and the growth drivers and the innovation drivers in their business. And I run a mastermind program, a mastermind group, and we do some of this inside of there. So the breakthrough zones are some people call them hot seats, some people call them mini coaching sessions. I like to call them breakthrough zones because it is the chance for, and not everybody participates. You know, we pick a couple so people can actually see what we do, but it allows us to really kind of get lasered in on a challenge or a problem or a breakdown that a company is having, and in front of the room, be able to go, okay, here's how we're going to cause a breakthrough. And I will tell you, I know that Helen says it's her favorite area of our events. I will tell you, people love these breakthrough zones. Number one, because they've got a bunch of resources all being focused in on their business. Number two, they're highlighted in front of an entire room, and customers are always finding their way to those businesses. And number three, it really causes impact for the business owner, the CEO, in particular, but also everybody else in the room. So it's a great opportunity to come and sort of get some free, I'll call it laser coaching, because I don't even know what else to really call it. But you're gonna have my entire team, up there with a couple of business owners, and we're gonna really cause breakthroughs. And the coolest part, at least from my perspective, and I'm 100% biased, is that even though this person might be up there and they're talking about their business in, wood milling or running a tackle shop in Idaho, or, they've got an e-commerce business that's doing $500,000 a month or whatever, everything we do inside the context of that breakthrough zone is really designed to help everybody else across the board. And we're pretty good about this. When you first come on, we're going to probably ask you, even if it's in private chat, like, what's your business? Like, tell us a little bit about your business so that we can, in real time, really design the event to help you have a breakthrough in your business, which is essentially saving time and or making more money. Helen will tell you, people in my mastermind literally, I think, get sick of me saying it, because everything we do is, how do we drive growth? How do we scale this business? How do we set it up for success? How do we save time with it? How do we make more money with it so that we can go impact our communities, our charitable organizations, and the communities that the business owners actually live in? Oh my gosh, I am fired up. I'm just like hearing myself.
And this is just in 25 minutes. We've got Casey fired up. This is just a taste of what you're going to get on Tuesday, because Casey brings it. He really does bring it. And I mean, I come in fired up, and then it gets kicked up another notch when Casey starts and gets into the program and everything else. But I love the breakthrough zones, because a lot of times I sit there and I'm like, I could be having a mental block on something, and it could be something you've told me multiple times over and over again, and it just hasn't sunk in. But when the student is ready, the teacher appears, and then something you say to the person that's in the breakthrough zone suddenly clicks with me, and I'm like, that's my missing piece. And then I'm like, oh yeah, Casey's been telling me that for months. Why didn't I listen to him about that? Because I wasn't ready. But yeah. I love it, and I love watching other people's faces on the grid in the Zoom thing, because you can see all these light bulbs going off above their heads and things. And I just
this is about execution, right? It's one thing to hear it. It's one thing to be told it 15 times. It's one thing to take a bunch of classes and courses on it. This event, you guys, is about execution, and we're going to execute in real time. And I can promise you this: I will bring 110%. Helen, everybody in our organization will show up at 110%.
Absolutely.
Right? So come on down. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have a blast together, and you will walk out a better business owner, CEO, founder than you showed up as. I guarantee it.
Absolutely. Well, Casey, thank you so much for being on this evening. I truly appreciate you taking time out of your Saturday evening to come and join us. If you are interested in coming, no, not if you're interested, if you are coming, no, not even if. You are going to come and register at havetonetwork.com, which is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. It's also in the description of the video as well, along with Casey's bio. That's also there, and I should have mentioned that at the beginning, so I apologize for that. But Casey's bio is in the description of the video. And just go to havetonetwork.com, and you can get to come and be with us, have fun with us on Tuesday. It is going to be a blast. We start at 8 a.m. Pacific, and I think on this sheet it actually said it goes to like 3 or 4 Pacific time. So
I like to get you guys out early. And and here's the thing: I get so fired up about this. For me, it's about impact. So there's no fee to come. Come as Helen's guest. Go to havetonetwork.com. Come as her guest. And it'll be awesome to have you guys there for sure.
Absolutely. I'm so looking forward to it. Well, Casey, thank you again. What's one little nugget that you can leave us with for tonight?
Take out your phone and text a family member that you love them.
Perfect. Love that. Well, thank you again, Casey. And for everybody else, we'll be back here tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hey, konara.